Yeah, what's up, Cave Trader? I do want to take this practice account trade though. I do want to take this trade. Uh, this is not necessarily a trade that I would normally take, but I do see a range and a break of structure right here. So see if we get like a retest of that area for sure. Hey, yo, what's up, Greenery? Yo, congratulations. Were you able to catch this move in gold tonight? Uh, shoot. Gold is man, every time when I'm not looking at the chart, she's always doing something like this, and it definitely can be frustrating, but I wouldn't have tried to chase this move higher. I just kind of learned that if you chase the impulsive move, if you take this trade 9 times out of 10, about 2 times you'll win this trade and you'll lose more over the long run. So I just prefer just to trade the pullback. This impulsive leg just tells me what side that I need to trade on, and just wait for that pullback.
Order filled.
Okay. Let me mute that. That was annoying. Let me mute that. Shit. All right. So this is a trade that I'm taking in a practice account right now. This is not. I just kind of want to see if this trade will work here. That's it. It's a practice account trade, not a real account trade. All right. So let's see. Let's see. Hmm. I am waiting for a pullback to around 22 though. If we do see that pullback to about 22, that's a trade that I will want to take. I won't. So this is an eval that I have. I don't know if I want to leave the limit overnight on gold. I mean, gold is pretty good at actually respecting support and resistance. My only concern with leaving a position overnight, something that I don't manage, is when I see a big move like this, and if my limit gets missed and the move happens without my limit order getting filled, it could potentially crash through that limit, uh, limit, that limit on a retest, and that would be my only concern. Like it just misses the entry and makes the move, and then as it comes back down to retest lower areas of liquidity, it fills the order, and then it stops me out. So that would be my only concern. Uh, uh, I'll probably pull the order. I mean, I wouldn't trade that way in my funded account, so there's no reason to create that habit. I'm just going to trade the same way. Just keep it systematic. Don't need to trade differently in the eval than I would in the funded account. So I'll just do that. You made 11. Oh, you haven't traded gold in a wall? Oh, that's crazy. Gold's been moving. And yo, congratulations on that greenery. Congratulations. Shit, I straight up missed it. I honestly considered taking a short. But again, I was being here, tested because I made this rule last week, and I think today really kind of solidified that rule with me in gold. Um, if the price action is not immediately to the left, like supply or demand, if it's like, as an example, let's just say that the market comes back into this area right here. Let's just say that the market comes back into this area. We get price to pull into this area. And where's my, hold on, give me a second. I thought I already had it up. I guess I didn't. All right. Anyway, there's my tool. All right. So if the market kind of pulls back into this area right here, and we see a rejection from this area, I'll take this trade 100% of the times if it follows my risk criteria and all that other stuff, right? I'll take this trade. But let's just say that the supply area was kind of made like kind of right here, and then we got that move down, and then it did something like this, and then it comes back up, and then we see a rejection, and then the bulls come back up, and then we get a retest of this area, then I'm not going to take that trade. It seems like with gold, if it doesn't hit it initially, it doesn't work. You'll get a slight rejection sometimes. You'll get a slight rejection sometimes, but then it's just going to pop right back up and trade right through it. I see that happen so often that now it's like, you know what? I'm just not going to take that trade. I'm just not going to. It's not worth it. And honestly, I've been doing more back testing this weekend with gold, and I think I'm just going to stick with my supply and demand trading strategy. Now, this is just another test trade in my practice account. I am not taking this in a real account. Uh, as I was back testing over the weekend, one of the trades that has been very consistent is this trading range trade, where price creates or the a trading range is formed. We see a break from that trading range and then pull back into that trading range, usually results in a profitable trade. Usually. We are super bullish though, so this is why I'm not confident to take this trade in a real account, well, at least not right now. I would prefer to take a long. I would prefer for price to either come back to this trading range right here, but I'm actually looking for the market to make a deeper pullback here and actually come back to this trading range right here. This is the trading range I'm looking to participate in this one right here. Because I think what's going to happen is the market is going to probably trade through this one. It's going to find support at this one, and then uh, we'll use the stops to make that move back higher. So that's what I think is going to happen. We'll see. Hopefully, If we don't see that move tonight, if we don't see the market come back down and fill that order, because I just need to see the order getting filled. If I can see the order getting filled, I would actually leave this overnight. But as I said earlier, if I don't see a fill, then I'm not comfortable with the trade. I'm not comfortable leaving a limit order sitting unless I see it get filled. Mm. Gold went absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Here's that classic, and this is the reason why I'm looking at this area for a re-entry, is because actually when before this move happened, I did look at the chart and I saw this trading range right here. I saw the break of structure and I was like, you know what? Um, yeah, obviously the market's not doing anything, so let me just go and do something else. And then I come back to the charts for this. And if you look closely at the chart right now, you can see the classic trap and then clap. Look at all the bears that got trapped underneath this low trying to short the break of this trading range. But honestly, it was kind of obvious that this wasn't going to work. And I'm kind of punching the air right now too, because all gold did was bounce off of an area from the previous week. I was actually in long at the end of the day with gold. It just didn't hit my target and it kind of pissed me off, right? So I was in this trade right here. I think I was in at 4. No, yeah, I was in this trade right here. It pushes up, pushes back down, and then at the end of the day, I had to take a smaller win than I would because it didn't complete the move. And I should have thought about that. I have to remember that gold is not the Nasdaq and that gold is going to finish out the price action. We already had the break of structure. This was the pullback. This was price trading into that little range. It pulled back again, and if you look right here, price bounced at last week's point of control. Perfect. Well, not, yeah, almost perfectly. And I obviously this is all in hindsight, obviously, but it bounced at last week's point of control perfectly, and then it went. I should have paid attention to that, and I should have taken that trade because all I had to do was get in right here, put my stop underneath that low right there, and just see what happened. Excuse me. That's all I had to do. But and then we got this trend line that price is now finding support at. Got this trend line right here from last week. So let me make sure I lock this. Actually, let me actually put this on my other chart so I can see this because when I'm trading Top Step X, I don't necessarily. Oh, this is anyway. And then it was holding last week's trend line. It had all the clues to be long for me to be long. If I actually got in at the trend line or waited for the pop back into the trend line, man, that would have been a beautiful freaking trade. Beautiful trade on gold. Honestly, Cave Trader, I would just keep doing what you have been doing. Why would you change it? Why change it if it's been working? And that's the real question. Why change it if it's been working? Mm, mm. Yo, congratulations on that, Cape Trader. You don't need me to tell you this, but just don't let victory defeat you. Don't let victory defeat you. Getting paid out is one hell of a drug. It really makes this become what we're doing real. At least when I got my first payout from you profit, it became real for me. I had a simple strategy on with the Nasdaq, and it just involved a simple fib level, and I would trade only at the 23%. That's it. That was my strategy on the Nasdaq. Was every day come in, get 50 points by getting in at the 23%, and that was so consistent, so simple, so consistent. Was able to get, uh, yeah. How much was my first payout? Because I could take payouts. So with you profit, when they had the old CEO, you can take daily profits. I think it was you profit and take profit were the only firms at the time that were doing daily payouts where you can any money that you made during the session, you can take as a payout. They changed it during that crazy run on the Nasdaq where the Nasdaq was running 300, 500 points per day and people were taking 10K payouts. Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them. But they changed that. And once they changed that, it was just hard to stick with them. Actually, that's when I stopped trading with them because it was really, I guess it was the biggest reason why I traded with them. Is that I can get paid daily. But obviously that firm is a shell of its former self. I would no longer recommend anybody trade with that firm. Anybody. Yeah, I can't trade. I mean, I would stick to what you've been doing, man. Stick to what you've been doing. Yeah, I remember that cave trader. So that definitely shows that you're definitely improving. Oh, that's interesting. Oh yeah, cave trader. I watched that video that you sent. Uh, man, I didn't finish the video though. It was tough to watch. It was tough to watch. I kind of had a feeling when I saw the two parents. I kind of had a feeling what it was going to be about, and then when I watched when I got the context of the story of yeah, that's you know, as a parent, I think that's probably one of the hardest things that you would have to live with. Honestly, well, let me just say this first. The one thing that I noticed with this story that you sent, Cave Trader, and I can understand that people grieve differently. I can understand that, but I didn't see any compassion from the parents. I saw some. It just seemed like the mom was just. It seemed like the mom was happy for the attention. she didn't seem like a grieving mom at all. She was just, it seemed like she was just there for the attention. Now I could be wrong, but she didn't look like a grieving mother. But the one thing that at least I'm going to do, I'm gonna learn from other people's mistakes. Is I understand that life can be hard, especially when you have kids and you feel that you're not providing what you feel they deserve. It's understandable, especially in today's economy, especially if uh, you're not where you want to be at in your life. I'll just keep it that way. And usually with kids, if they're not getting the attention that they believe that they deserve, they go into a very dark place, and they become susceptible to a lot of dark thoughts. And unfortunately, some of them take, some of them allow those voices to take, some of them allow those voices to be voices of reasons, the ones that tell them to hurt themselves. And unfortunately, they listen to it. And instead of getting the help that they need, they just pass that pain along to somebody else. And that's why I've always believed that when someone hurts themselves, it's just selfish. Because just imagine if you're in so much pain to the point to where you don't want to be here anymore. How do you think people that care about you, especially if you haven't told anybody, you just expect people to read your mind and understand how you feel without you telling them? I mean, life with these TV shows, it just implants unrealistic expectations. Dude, people cannot read your mind. And people are not, even your parents, they have things that they have to maintain and worry about. They're not here to read your mind and know how the hell you feel 24/7. That's why they took the time to teach you how to communicate, to learn whatever language you speak, and to communicate to them how you feel so you can get the help that you need and to be able to accept that help. But with these TV shows and dramas and stuff like that, I guess people are supposed to know, and that's the expectation. And if people don't get that expectation, then it says, well, I'm going to show them I'm going to hurt myself. Or they hurt themselves and they just pass that pain on to somebody else. And now the people that care about you has to live with you no longer being there. And that's selfish. That type of pain it never goes away no matter how much time goes by. It just never goes away. Sometimes it sneaks up on you. It's it requires a lot of resources to try to live normally. And then all it does is one bad day, one bad trigger, and it's a flood of emotions and realization that this person that they care about is no longer there. And that is painful, very painful, hard to live with. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But uh, yeah, so yeah, I couldn't finish the video, Cave Trader. Crazy. So, or I guess what it was saying is that Chat GPT, the parents are suing whatever his name is, Sam Altman, I believe his name is, because Chat GPT, in their opinion, walked their son or convinced their son to take his own life. The parts that I watched, the mother said that she went through his Chat GPT log, which was weird. Which I don't know, man. That was kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. When I heard that part, I don't know. A part of me stopped believing the story, but honestly, I really don't care. But that's just kind of weird to go through. You're going through your son's chat GPT. Like, what would possess somebody to do that? But I'm not gonna focus on that part. And what she said was that the AI told him that you know the AI will be with him every step of the way as he took his own life. So obviously, it's not all Sam Altman's fault. Yeah, you can say that the chatbot may have pushed him over the edge, but he was already there anyway. So that just tells me that also the parents, and, as unfortunate as this is, they didn't see the signs. They didn't pay attention to the signs. Because I'm pretty sure there were signs, though. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. But that's the video that K Trader sent me. Oh, you didn't watch the whole thing either? Yeah. You know, they so what I'm beginning to understand about law, they may have a case, but at the same time, I think what probably will happen is that they'll probably get a settlement because this is what these companies do anyway. They'll just give them a settlement and make them sign an NDA and make them shut the hell up, saying that hey, don't talk about this shit. Because as tragic as this situation is, at the end of the day, nobody, like, just because someone took their own life, the money ain't gonna stop. Uh, no, they're not gonna shut Chat GPT down. They'll probably tweak it so somebody else can't be convinced to take their own life from this chatbot, but it ain't going away. It is not going anywhere. The show must and will go on. No one character is bigger than the entire show. So that's probably what's going to happen. If they think they're going to get millions, I'm pretty sure they're just going to settle for a couple 100,000 and they'll go away. And as crazy as this sounds, I mean, this is kind of like the dark side of life. It's people will sit here and tell you that your life doesn't have a value, a price tag to it. But these companies have been in this situation so often that they already have a playbook set up. They know how much they can give to shut people up. And usually people will sit there and say, oh, I want millions of dollars, blah, 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 blah. And they'll walk away with $100,000 to $200,000 and shut the fuck up and go away. As dark and crazy as that sounds, these companies have seen this time and time and time again. They've been through it time and time again. It really just goes to show that at the end of the day, it's money that shuts people up. They didn't really, I mean, if you truly cared about your family member, there is no amount of money that can console you, but people will just take the money. Okay. Yeah, and I saw this. Good thing I did not take that short, and I think that's the same thing to go. I think that's gonna probably be a rule that I have. It would have worked out. So the short, actually, let me see, because I would have got short at 25 100. I would have actually got stopped out of the trade. Actually, it would have stopped me out, and then it would have went in my direction. But it still would have came back and stopped me out because I had like a 90 point target right here, and it still would have. I mean, I would have been in profit. It just would have stopped me out at the end of the day. So if the price action is not immediately to the left, kind of like in a situation like this, where you get a break and price pulls back and it's not immediately to the left, I think these trades work. But if it's not immediately to the left, you'll get situations where people will try to short as price comes back into the area, and you can see that people got stopped out. Like this one, like right here. This is since it's immediately to the left. This is why it worked. But as you can see, as it came back to the other side, not only did price gap up above it, it used this area as support right now to keep going. So I'm not going to take trades like that anymore. I'm not taking trades like that anymore. I think not taking these trades will probably cut down on some of the unnecessary losses. Yeah, kind of like right here. You see how immediately you get a bounce because it's immediately to the left. You get a bounce in this area. You kind of get a bounce right there. But I mean, I guess the same could be said for the short too. Since it's immediately to the left, there's a short. Immediately to the left, there's a short. So yeah, moving forward, if the price action is not immediately to the left, I'm not going to take it. I'm just not going to take it. Mm. Everything you own to the box to the left. Yep. Left, left. Okay. Mm. I mean, AI, I mean, we had, well, I think, um, how do I want to say this? So instead of calling it an AI, I mean, all AI is just a large language model. A large language model. It's just when you think of AI, just think of a database. Always think of a database. And depending on what kind of AI, like a chatbot is probably what everybody. So when we use the term AI, majority of people are thinking of a chatbot. A chatbot is a large language model that it has a lot of, how do I want to say this? It's been given a lot of, it's been trained on data, on a lot of communication to where you can ask it a question and your question is basically, when you ask it a question, it's querying the database for an answer and it's returning that answer as a conversation versus returning that query as a result. I think I need to say that again. It's returning your query as a conversation versus returning your query as a result. So all AI is just, or at least what Chat GPT and stuff like that is, just a database that has been given is has been humanized. It can have a conversation with you, or it's the illusion of a conversation. And you know, we can kind of get into that as well, like dive deep into that, because we now have something that would suggest that what makes human kind of what's the difference between what we as humans are doing and what an AI chatbot is doing? What is artificial intelligence? I mean, we're calling it artificial intelligence so that our mind can separate it from reality. But these artificial intelligence are, they can grab and hold and store and return more information than your average person can. So if this artificial intelligence is artificial, what does that say about us? What does that say? And you can get all philosophical about this and just go down that rabbit hole, but it's going to get to the point to where I mean, I think it's getting to that point now. We're already seeing, or we're seeing a lot of companies replace customer support, or not necessarily 100% replace them, but reduced their workforce because a lot of everyday questions can be answered by a chatbot. And for the more difficult tasks that an AI chatbot is not necessarily equipped to handle, you can just have somebody like a some random tech support answer those questions that the chatbot can't, which greatly reduces the force. So you don't have to pay it benefits. All you have to do is maintain it. That's it. Yep, that's definitely true. Yep. Omnish. I'm sorry. For whatever reason, I can't see your name. But yeah, it's just returning your results as a conversation. I think that's like the most simplest way to put it, actually. I mean, we talked about this a lot in this stream, but everything is a database. Every single thing at its foundation is a database. Without a database, we wouldn't have anything. Anything. Facebook, database. MySpace, database. Snapchat, TikTok, database. And on top of that database is an algorithm, which is just a set of instructions that that are taken to return and to traverse that database. Because just imagine if you have a database and it has millions, trillions, but billions of data stored in its data in the database in its warehouse in a data warehouse. How do you efficiently search that data warehouse for what you need? And that's where algorithms come in. Algorithms make traversing databases easier. And that's why a lot of these social media platforms, uh, or what is the word I'm looking for? They patent a lot of their algorithms that they create. So the world is just basically a database, really. That's all it is. To simplify it. Obviously, there's a lot of math and all that other stuff on top of it, but it's basically a database. So when I see like these stupid news clips of, oh my God, the AI tried to save itself by faking, all the stupid stories to get people, thinking that AI is more than it is. No, no. AI can only do what it's been given to do. If it's been trained to do that to protect itself, it would. But if it doesn't know how to, it can't. It's just a database. So when I see stupid stories like that, I just know that it's propaganda mostly. It's not real. Trying to get people to associate these chatbots with Terminator and stuff and iRobot. It's just a database. All right. Well, mm, well, mm, mm, mm. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens right there. We'll see. We'll see. So 45. Mm, Mm. So Care Trader says that so your strategy on gold is basically to look for the 50-day EMA on the daily. And if price is above that, that's where you take the trade. But because it's been on the short side, you haven't been taking the trade. Well, I mean, gold is not the Nasdaq. You can short gold. You can definitely short it. I mean, shit, if you have been shorting it, you would have been profitable all last week for sure. It's just the Nasdaq you really can't short. You just have to kind of, I mean, shit, you don't need me to tell you that. It's just the Nasdaq that is just hard to short. The ES and gold will short as supply. It will short as supply. It's too liquid on ES and it's too illiquid on gold for it to not do that. Which is weird because the Nasdaq has a lot of volume, but it's low. I mean, in comparison with the ES, is a low volume instrument. But the Nasdaq will sit there and just run and run and run, and then it will fall and fall and fall. But gold, on the other hand, because it usually trades under 100,000 contracts, mostly. Actually, let's see how many contracts is being traded right now. Yeah, so I mean, gold is not necessarily a high volume instrument. Right now, it's like 97 on the micros and 41,000 on the minis. So you can kind of trade both sides of the market. I mean, the only thing that you don't want to do is if it's trending in one direction, I wouldn't trade against it because usually when gold is, I mean, all instruments do this, but on commodities where they kind of need liquidity to move, like it's always tapping into stops. And the whole, like with gold and ES, usually the strategy that most traders implement on these instruments is to trade into the opposite side stops, turn these sellers into buyers and buy into their stops. Those are usually easy winners, usually. And it's usually just that impulsive leg. So, what a lot of traders will do, actually, let me just put that back up there. What a lot of traders would do, like in a situation, kind of like right here. So, with gold, the market would kind of wait for this trading range. And then the professionals, quote unquote, will use this move right here and buy into their stop. So instead of trying to find that perfect entry, they're they have their limit order probably above this high right here. And they're trading this small little move right here with heavy size to capture this move versus trying to look for a perfect entry for the most part. And this is a good example right here, waiting for that trading range and then trading the break of it. And then here's them coming back and trading the retest of that breaker structure. And that would have been an easy winner right there. Well, I mean, the market is super bullish. So when it comes to shorting gold, you just have to just kind of wait for these breaks of structure, unless the market is trending. And then gold is really good at rejecting at trend lines and stuff like that. Mm. You trade the 30-minute on gold? Shit. On gold, that's the higher time frame. You trade the 30-minute, huh? That's interesting. You trade the 30-minute. Hmm. So, huh. Where do you find your so you said that your entries are how do you where are you entering on the 30-minute? I'm interested to know that. Because as I'm looking at the 30-minute, honestly, I mean, I look at the 15-minute and probably the hourly at time. Well, I'm gonna start looking at the hourly now for direction. But I am never looking, or I do not look at this chart for entries. It's just for to confirm my bias, but never for entry. That's not a good look. Hmm. Mm. Man, shit, Bob. If that's been working for you, Cave Trader, I will continue to use it. I mean, the most, I still wouldn't even, yeah. I would look at this chart for convict or confirmation of my trade. Since gold is such a low liquidity item, these candles just it really doesn't tell me anything. That's why I trade the low. That's why I trade the lower time frame on gold. Because at least I see the structure. I can see all my trading range. I can see my double tops. I can see my breaks of structure. So what I'm hearing is that we could potentially see the end of the government shutdown potentially if they can make an agreement tonight. Hmm. So what's so hold on, give me a second. So how did you come up with that strategy on gold, Cave Trader? Interesting. Mm, mm, So kind of like you. So I was trying to find a scalping strategy for gold over the weekend, and every time I try to find one, it just seems like it's just better just to stick to what I've been doing. Yeah, I make more money scalping, or I would make more money scalping, but it would require me to trade about 4 contracts, 4 to 5 mini contracts with a very tight stop. But it would require me to be patient, tight stop, and tight targets. I'm talking about like my first target would be at like 3 or 4 points, which I mean on gold that I mean if I have if I have half of my position coming off at that first target at 4 points, that's like $800 right there, which would be good enough, honestly. I mean, $800 and 4 points, and then I have 2 left, and then trailing the position. I mean, that could work, but it just requires me to be very patient and pick my spots because I would have like actually no, it'll be kind of it'll be so if I have a 2 point, so if I have a 2 point stop, then I should have a 2 point first target. And we don't trade for no damn 2 points. And over time, I can just see myself just holding the entire position as a long trade because I'm thinking, well, yeah, if I'm gonna trade 5 minis, I might as well just hold the 5 minis. Why am I scalping 5 minis? And I only get like what $2,000 maybe at the end of it, which I mean it'll be more than what I would have made, but I mean, all it takes is for one bad trade to mean, but at the same time, it's only 2 points. But those 2 points do add up over time, though. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I might as well just stick to what I've been doing. Just wait for the pullbacks and just learn to just scale. Like start off with one contract, and then, if I'm seeing consistent profitability, scale up to 2, and then 3, and then 4. Because if I'm just looking for 90 ticks on 5 contracts, that's $4,500 right there. Looking for 90 ticks. And then just keep scaling it up. Just keep adding contracts as the account grows, and before I know it, I'll be in enough contracts where 90 ticks is a $20,000 trade, and I'll lose 4,000 just to make 20,000, which honestly is not a bad trade-off. Honestly, 4,000 to make 20,000. Not a bad trade-off. So I think I'm just going to stick to what I've been doing. I'm not going to change my strategy anymore. I'm just going to stick to that. Just be patient. Wait for the pullback into supply, demand. Take the trade or not. The only other strategy I was considering would be something like I go back to micros, and instead of having one entry, one single point of failure as an entry, I'll just start doing something where I have price trades back into an area of supply. I'll have limit order, limit order, limit order, limit order, and then probably my stop all the way up here with the micros, and just have price fill as many of these limit orders as possible without it touching my stop, and then going down and getting the money, and then having my average entry, follow me as price continues to trade higher. So something like that. You want to do it that way? Why not, K Trader? Why wouldn't you do it that way? I mean, honestly, I wouldn't do it that way either. I feel like trading that way gets you lazy with your entries. Yeah, I mean, you can get filled. You'll be in drawdown for the majority of it, though, until it finally turns around. But, I mean, as it continues to go higher, your average entry follows with, I mean, if you have it spaced out correctly, your average entry will come up. And your stop is way back there. And if it does hit your stop, all you lose is $200 or something like that. So, I mean, it solves the problem of being inside of a trade, but you don't know if it's going to, I mean, if you're trading it correctly, it should work. It should work. That's how you would do it. So I wonder if we're going to see a breakout from the bulls here. I wonder, because obviously we're starting to see exhaustion. Obviously. Looks like they got orders sitting at 65. Bookmap is a very good tool for gold. Honestly, if I can go back, I probably wouldn't trade the Nasdaq. Maybe I can go back and do it again. Maybe because it's just no tool is reliable with the Nasdaq. It's a best guess with the Nasdaq, but it's not 100% reliable. These order flow tools, but they work beautifully on ES and gold and everything else except the Nasdaq. I'm not saying that there's not going to be times where the order flow tool is absolutely correct, but for the most part, I wouldn't bet. I wouldn't bet it. I think the only thing that's been consistently working is the orb on the Nasdaq and these gamma levels on the Nasdaq. These gamma levels have definitely been accurate. That's the only thing that I find that to be consistent on Nasdaq. It's gotten to the point now where honestly, I don't even take a trade, or at least I try not to take a trade outside of the orb. Because the ES orb definitely, or not the orb, the Nasdaq orb, it seems like that's the only thing that's consistent on the Nasdaq. It's the only thing. And I look at the Nasdaq over the weekend and I can't, or at least I haven't discovered any consistency outside the orb with the Nasdaq. And that's not slander. It's just, I mean, it's just the truth. I don't find anything consistent with the Nasdaq. Hey, yo, what's up, Alfred? He says Poco Trace says that's wild. And like I said, it's not slander or anything. It's just a lot of my bad habits came from the NQ. I have to unlearn a lot of it. Was anybody else able to catch this move on the Nasdaq today? We had a gap open with the Nasdaq, pullback, and a break. Was anybody else able to capture this move? Or are we all sitting on our hands tonight? Yeah, I don't think we'll probably see any opportunity tonight with anything. Oh. You say you caught a small long? I'm pretty sure the Nasdaq is going to present a lot of trading opportunities tomorrow. Okay. So apparently, the U.S. shutdowns could potentially see an end. Honestly, I thought that we was going to see at least, and I thought we was going to see at least 45 to 47 days of this shutdown. But we could potentially see an end of the shutdown because supposedly tonight, the Senate reached a bipartisan deal that is expected to end the shutdown and temporarily open the government through January 30th of 2026. The agreement includes a full year funding for some agencies and a commitment for a future vote on healthcare subsidies, which was a key point in negotiations. Now, there's been a lot of rumors, conspiracy theories of why the healthcare portion of this bill, the Democrats was going so hard. So supposedly, and this is alleged because obviously I can't prove it, but allegedly, the Democrats were fighting so hard because the insurance companies weren't going to get their cut of the pie with the current version of the bill. And we all know that Democrats like to double speak. They hide their intentions in a nice little package that is easy for people to swallow and not question. We know this by now. I mean, if I think the last couple of years the Democrats have definitely shown their hands in the nefarious tactics that they use to get their way. By saying, "Oh, people deserve health care," when it was really for the insurance companies to get their cut. Now, like I said, it's alleged, but I believe that. That sounds very on brand for that party. It really does. And with a lot of the funding gone, honestly, I realized that so I'm speaking to some of my colleagues from different companies, and I'm not saying anything, but it's weird that a lot of their training program has been put on hold because for whatever reason the budget's not there anymore. I wonder why. The budget is no longer there anymore. And it seems like a lot of agencies are now experiencing having to work with a lower budget. I wonder what happened. Probably Doge or something like that. But yeah, a lot of agencies don't have the funding anymore. And a lot of my not colleagues that I work with, but people that I know, they work for different various companies, and every single one of them is saying the same thing. So I find that very interesting. So, I mean, this thing goes on to say that the shutdowns will not formally end until the House passes the measures and the president signs it into law, a process which could take several more days. Until the legislative process is complete, the government remains partially closed and services are still disrupted. So we'll see. Like honestly, I really wouldn't be surprised if the shutdowns last 45 to 47 days. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Honestly. Yeah. Well, Poco, officially it hasn't ended yet because they agreed to it. It's just that the House has to pass it, and President Trump would have to sign it into law. So it hasn't ended. We moved forward. We finally, I guess the Republicans finally was able to get the Democrats to agree. They agreed, and now the House has to pass it, and President Trump has to sign it into law. You said YouTube ghosted your comment? Hmm. 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 Man, that's pretty close. Pretty close. It's just that unfortunately this thing just missed me by 2 ticks. This thing literally missed me by 2 ticks, and this is always heartbreaking on gold. I mean, we love it when gold misses us by a tick, but man, it's heartbreaking to get missed by a couple of ticks here. All right, so I just noticed something on gold. So again, I'm in the practice account. I'm just trying this trade out and seeing what would happen to see if I can take a trade like this in the future, but I think I will get stopped out of this one. The reason why I say that, the reason why I believe that I'll get stopped out of this one is because we got this falling resistance trend line right here, and we just had the bulls push above this falling resistance trend line, push down, push back up, and push back down, and they found support. They found support on this trend line, and they're pushing it up. So I'm gonna leave this order on here. I want to see what happens, but it's highly likely it's going to be a loser. Yeah, that's a long. That is definitely a long. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Actually, let me make sure that I don't have this in a log. Okay. This is the practice account, and I don't want to log my practice account out or anything. All right. All right, my bad, I was muted. The reason why I take these types of trades in a test environment, and so I don't try to pressure myself into taking these trades in a real account. I need to see these types of trades either be successful or not be successful. Because even though technically we are bullish, technically price made an area of supply right here, technically. And I just want to see if these types of trades, even though the market is super bullish right now, will a trade like this work in a bullish environment for like a, I don't know, like a scalp down or something like this? But honestly, like I said, I wouldn't have taken this trade honestly in a real account anyway because it's just not even worth it. I would actually just look for a long. Once I saw that break of structure of that fallen resistance trend line, and I saw that they broken out of it. All I know is that right now price is running these stops right now. So I honestly I wouldn't even take in this trade honestly, but I do want to see what happens here. No, the yellow line is the 21 EMA. The 21 EMA, and the red line is the 50 EMA. I do not have VWAP on the X platform because I just found that or I find VWAP on the X platform unreliable. 441. I just look at the VWAP on NinjaTrader 8, and this VWAP is based on order flow. I don't think it makes any difference. I mean, what the VWAP is based on. I just choose not to use the one on X because it usually is wrong. Let me actually, let me see. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's close, I guess. I guess it's close. So the VWAP on my other chart is at 441, and this one's at 42.2. So this VWAP is actually above the VWAP on my other chart. So I usually just prefer just to use my NinjaTrader 8 chart. Actually, let me see. Yeah, I even switched it to a 40 tick. I even switched it to a 100 tick chart, and yeah, this VWAP is above the VWAP on my other chart, on my NinjaTrader 8 chart. All right, let me look at the MNQ real quick. This is, so, I mean, let me look at the MNQ. All right, so VWAP is at 449. Hold on, let me actually get to the 2000 tick chart. All right, so VWAP on my other chart is okay, it's close. It's close. So my other chart is at 367.29. And this one is at 367.35. So this VWAP is kind of off. Yeah, so that's why I don't use it on the X platform. Hey, yo, what's up, Tony Gold? You say you've been on for 20 minutes. You talking about what with gold? Yeah, that could definitely probably be a long right there. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Oh, are you talking about on the stream? Um, well, I mean, I'm glad that I'm glad that you've been here. I appreciate everybody that chooses to hang out with me while we trade at night and during the day. Well, like I said, I don't know if this thing works. I don't know if this works. I don't know if this play works, guys. I really don't. Uh, no, like I said, normally I wouldn't take this trade, but it is a practice account, so I might as well practice, right? We do have a bullish move. This is basically a double top, but I don't think the Bulls are going to get this one up. I don't know. Honestly, I thought that gold would probably, well, I mean, I don't think gold is I think all the old fundamental data that used to matter just doesn't matter anymore. With the uncertainty of when the government shutdown is going to end, I mean, wouldn't it make sense for gold to rise due to the uncertainty and not the certainty of it potentially ending? That's at least how I would think it would work, but apparently, I guess it doesn't matter what I think, because we got this big move on gold overnight. So obviously the market doesn't think that way. But I would assume that that's how the market would see the situation. But I guess not. And shoot, honestly, I'm just gonna pull this order right here. It may actually come and hit this order eventually at some point, but I'm not going to be up to manage this position, so I'm not going to keep it on the chart. Yeah. Yeah, this thing looks like it's going to break out to the upside. I probably should have taken. Yeah, this thing looks like it's going to break out to the upside. We're finding support on this falling resistance trend line. The bears are having a hard time shorting it from this potential area of supply. I mean, it's obvious that the bears are here because you can see them trying to sell this thing, but I don't think it's going to work. Or I guess how I should say it is, it feels like it's highly unlikely for it to work. And as the bears are building and trying to short this thing, all their stops are doing is resting beautifully above that high for a stop run. So either the bears are going to knock this thing down, or we're just going to see a continuation higher using their stops. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. What else? I definitely learned my lesson from last week. Moving forward, I will not close any position before it either hits my target or my stop. I literally closed out of a winning trade because I was taking a little bit of heat. The crazy thing is, I mean, this is how crazy it is, man. As soon as I flipped long, it just seemed like Bogdanov got that call. The Bulls went away, and then it was Bear City. Bear City, not only did price hit my target, but it exceeded it. Exceeded it. Yeah, I ain't gonna never do that ever again. You said protect the account. Oh yeah, I'm gonna protect it. All right. I have defined risk and I have a defined reward. All I have to do is execute, take the trade and see what happens. I shouldn't worry about it hitting my stop, especially if it's in an area where it invalidates the trade. Honestly, I don't really need this much. I really don't need this much. I can probably give myself back probably 9 ticks. This will kind of be too close for comfort. I can probably give myself, I can probably risk 45 ticks in this situation because it's well above that high. It's well above that high. It does look like the ATR right now is a 1.2. So price shouldn't, my stop can literally be above like 2 points above this high and I should be good with a 1.2 ATR right now. 1.1 ATR. It's 2 points above this high, so if I get stopped out, I was just wrong. Yeah. But what if you get out of a trade that works in your favor? I mean, I guess you could get back in for a lower entry, a worse entry. Let me see. Let me try to find a word that, I mean, I guess I could get back in and maybe, it was a good word for that because we don't want to say a worse entry. Because I mean, if it works, right? But I'm gonna think about that. If I'm getting in, if my original entry, I guess I could say, a follow-up entry, but I guess that doesn't really describe. You just reposition. Yeah. I guess that what I could just say, I can just call it a lower entry. It's a lower entry. So if I get out of this position because I don't like the heat that I'm taking and I reposition myself at a lower entry. I mean, the only thing that, yeah, I guess we can use that phrase, reposition myself at a lower entry. I guess but you guys know me. I don't short the market as it goes down. I short the market as it goes up. And vice versa. I buy as the market is going down. I do not buy as it goes up. But what I will no longer do, if for those that wasn't here earlier in the stream, what I will no longer do is I will not, if price is too far to the left, I'm not taking that trade no more. That trade it just seems to not work. It seems it works just enough to get more people in that trade just to trap and clap them. And I've consistently see that. It rarely works. Honestly, I really don't know why I still take that trade at times. I really don't. Like this little cup right here, this little UW shape, whatever you want to call it. Uh, within this price action, I will trade, but I mean, if it's price action from 2 days ago, I'm not going to short in that area. I usually don't see trades like that working. We'll see like a slight rejection. We'll see people taking profits at that area, but you're not going to get a you're not going to get a clean trade from those entries. It's better just to trade within that same leg. It's better to trade within the same price and the same proximity of each other versus, because once it breaks out, I mean that's kind of, I think once the market breaks out, I think it resets the price action. It resets the price action, I think. The Wu-Tang W pattern. Mm. Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall on this one. I think the writing is on the wall on this one because it's highly unlikely that they get this target. Probably 455. I see a lot of orders sitting at 455. If this thing does push down, it'll probably bounce at that yellow line, the 21 EMA. That's exactly probably where I'll bounce at. Because I'm looking at Bookmap right now. We got a bunch of orders sitting at 55, 45, and 35. Looks like the market is in love with the fives tonight. 55, 45, and 35 is where I'm seeing a lot of orders resting right now on Bookmap. And I do see 65 as a level above. Okay, yeah, I see why. But it does look like a double top up here, though. All right, let's see. Let's see if we get a bounce at 55. Let's see. You said, what did I mean by payout fever earlier? Honestly, I don't recall. But what I is that what happened? I looked at, so I was on my TFD account and I looked at the charts, and the charts is all messed up. But then I think if you're gonna buy an X platform account, Top Step X is gonna probably be the least affected by any outages, because I didn't see any craziness on my Top Step account, but I saw it on my TFD account. Let me see if it works. Oh well, I got logged out. But my EMAs were all over the place. My 200 EMA looked like it broke its leg because it did this, and then it sloped to the downside. It was all broken looking. I was like, dude, what the hell was going on? But yeah, these X platforms, man, it's. He says it was out at open again tonight. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I looked at the metals chat, and someone said that they missed a great opportunity because of the outage. And honestly, I wonder. Because it seems like, and this is alleged, obviously, but every time when the market is doing something crazy where potentially a lot of people can make a lot of money, it seems like this X platform or these prop firms are having outages, or they're having problems with their data connection or something like that. But yeah, something like that, K Trader. I think what I was saying earlier, if I recall, was not getting defeated by success. I was saying don't let success defeat you. You don't want to I think I was saying you don't want to deviate from what's been making you successful, because one of the things that I did, and kind of like what Alfred said, once you get a taste of that payout, man, you're thinking, or at least in my situation, what I thought was, man, how can I get this faster? How can I make the money that I need to get the payouts that I need faster? Let me deviate from my plan. Let me try to create a new one that allows me to get the money that I need faster. And what does that and what does that usually involve? Gambling, over leveraging, and trading your P&L instead of focusing on the process. You focus on the process, Cave Trader. I think that's pretty evident. You're probably one of the few traders that I know that can take a loss and be like, oh, well, I'll come back tomorrow, instead of blowing his account, instead of blowing all the time spent in the account. Just come back tomorrow and get it, or however long it takes to get it back, just following your system. So you're probably one of the few traders that I know that does that, because I know I don't. That's why I need to trade on these X platforms to protect my. Actually, you know what? You know what's crazy? I watched this video. It's one of the Furus. I mean, obviously he was talking. Obviously, everything he was saying was on ChatGPT or some shit like that. But the thing is, what a lot of what he's saying was true. A lot of the times, one of the things that he said was very it resonated with me the most, and I think it's very important that I share that tonight. This Furu said, the reason why we come into this market with anxiety and patience is because we don't trust ourselves. And the reason why we don't trust ourselves is because every time when our strategy loses, we deviate from our plan, we're trading on tilt, and we're blowing our account, which creates distrust between it creates distrust between you and yourself. You don't even trust. Most traders don't trust themselves because of how they behave when they take a loss, myself included. There was a time where I didn't trust myself. That's why that statement resonated with me. That's why I'm on this X platform with these risk settings, and I lock myself out, so I have no choice. I'm one of those people. That's definitely true for me. That's definitely true because I just have a very challenging time accepting certain outcomes when I feel or I want to be right when I'm wrong. It's just hard to accept it. It's challenging to accept it. And with these risk settings and what they do for me, it's the only thing I have to worry about. The only mental energy, the only mental resources that I have to pay is making sure that I lock myself out as before I even take a trade. Look at my risk settings. I mean, honestly, all I have to do is just lock it out because I'm only want to take 1 to 2 trades. And once I lose 2 trades, I come back tomorrow. I mean, that's my strategy. Keeping it simple. The only account that I take 1 trade in is the futures trading desk account. For whatever reason, I only take 1 trade in that account. But excuse me. Every other account I take 2 trades. And I'm just gonna keep it that way. All I have to do is just lock the account out, and all I have to focus on is taking my trades. And once I have that in my mind that, okay, all I can take is 2 trades a day. So I need to make sure that if my first trade is not a good trade, then I'm gonna have to work harder on that second trade to get my money back. And if both trades lose, then I already know how much I'm going to lose. I don't have to worry about me throwing a tantrum and going on tilt. I can just come back and try to get it the next day. That's all I can do. But yeah. He did that in 2 accounts Friday and lost both of them. Yeah. Damn, dude. That's crazy. So hold on. Why did you short gold at the open? Yeah, market money. That's definitely true too. So, and look at that balance at 55. Gold, like as I said this on Friday, gold is not lying to anybody here. I mean, it's not rocket science that gold was going to bounce at 55. I mean, it was just support there. It was going to bounce at 55. I just had to, like I said, a lot of this is from Nasdaq. It's hard. It's very challenging to accept losses on Nasdaq. It's just that I'm carrying over that mentality to gold because I mean we all know we all traded the Nasdaq here. This is Nasdaq Anonymous. Trading gold is just a part of our 12 steps. But man, how often have we been in a Nasdaq trade that stops us out? We get in, like, we're okay. As an example, actually, Friday was a good example, and I was telling Smith that it was crazy that as we was talking about the difference between Nasdaq and gold, the Nasdaq literally showed us as I was talking about it. She did exactly what we was talking about. The Nasdaq does things like this, and then she'll do things like this. Look at how she ran this double bottom. So we got a stop run right here. And I was actually in this trade, I think. And it stops me out. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, maybe the market doesn't want to go long here. It runs the orb low. And then it pops right back up. Just a double top. And this was a trade that I was looking for right here. I was just looking for a retest of this area right there. But it stops me out and then does it. That kind of stuff right there. It really messes with the trader's mind because it's like, damn, like, what did I just do there? I got in what I believe to be support. The Nasdaq ran me out for no reason for the liquidity. And then she goes to my intended target. And it doesn't really take too many times until you get to a point to where it's like, fuck it. Now we're just going to keep buying the dip. I'm going to keep moving my stop because hopefully I can move my stop to a point to where it'll bounce and it'll hit my target. And I know a lot of people got angry because they were probably in that same trade with me because obviously the market stop ran people out of that position. I mean, this is a stop run right here. And then the bears that got short, they got ran too. So the Nasdaq will sit there. She ran the bulls and then she turned around and ran the bears. So it was, and then she trapped the bulls thinking that the bulls thought that this was like a move back up to the highs, and then she traps the bulls. So it's like this type of behavior, at least in my situation, or at least in my experience, has created a lot of bad habits that I project onto gold. And we talk about this a lot. We do. We talk about this a lot because it's just true. But anybody that got caught up in this and thinking that, the market was going to eventually bounce. I mean, a lot of traders were buying this. I mean, it's evident because we're seeing all this grinding. You see how price grinded to the downside. Usually when you see grinding, that's just people aggressively trying to buy the dip as the market was going down. And finally, the market was able to make a big turnaround. But a lot of people lost their accounts before. I'm pretty sure maybe half of NASDAQ traders lost their account at the tick before it turned because they kept trying to buy the dip, and not stopping themselves out of that position. Thank you, Rut Kid. Thank you. That's exactly right. That's okay. You'll find out. You'll find out. You inverse the Sherm, you find out. You will find out. Okay, do it. Sure account. Sure account. I'm not responsible for any blown accounts if you choose to inverse the Sherm. I'm not responsible for those accounts. Now, if I'm trading on tilt, then okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, all right. All right, yeah, I guess. If I'm trading on tilt. Honestly, if I'm trading on a tilt, I think it's pretty obvious when I trade on a tilt. I get really quiet, and you'll see me oversized, like super oversized. And it's just I'm just getting in because obviously I'm mad, and yeah, I'm usually on the wrong side of that for whatever reason. Usually, well, sometimes. I mean, there have been times where well, no, because if I'm trading on tilt, it just seems like even if I win or I lose, somehow I still blow the account because it's just not enough. So even if I'm winning, then eventually I'm gonna oversize and lose. So, I mean, it's kind of what I do. Ooh, I just saw that on gold. Oh, look at that. Well, that bounce at 55 on gold, that pullback, bounce at 55, and the stop run. I had a feeling that was going to happen, and that's exactly what happened. Gold doesn't lie. And I'm beginning to really trust gold. Gold doesn't lie. It doesn't. It doesn't. Anyway, I mean, nah, Alfred. See, you came in at the wrong time. You came in at the wrong time. There's a reason why I took it short. There's a reason why I took it short. I was telling everybody to go long. I took it short because I wanted to test this trade out. I wanted to test it out, but I was telling everybody to go long. It was obviously a long. That's exactly right. I mean, my bad, Alfred, gain weight. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm in a practice account. Why not? It's not like I'm in a real, I'm in my eval or anything. Like I said, if I was in my eval, I would have taken this long at the break of that trend line. But I wanted to take it short because I guess you weren't here earlier when I was explaining it, but I just wanted to test to see if, even if the market is bullish, will this thing short at supply? Because in situations like this, you got that internal voice telling you to take the trade, and it's just a lot of pressure at times. It's just a lot of pressure to not take that trade when your internal voice is calling you names, telling you that if you don't take this trade, you're gonna miss out. So I kind of take these trades to kind of convince myself to just stay disciplined in situations like this, because that internal voice, along with the emotional pressure of wanting to be right. I mean, it could be exhausting at times, and it can definitely be exhausting. And so what this trade tells me is that, in a situation like this, that I'm just not going to take this trade, or I can kind of feel confident to not take this trade. And if I run into this trade down the road and it works out, I just kind of know that if I take this trade 10 times, then I'm only going to get it to work probably like 1 or 2 times out of the 10. So it's not a good trade to take. But I definitely do, especially if I'm on my practice account. Y'all, you can't judge me gain weight if I'm in my practice account and I take trades like that. You can't judge me. I mean, I guess you can, but you're not supposed to. I'm in the sim. In my practice account, I'm practicing. got a bunch of orders sitting at 65 though. I doubt the market stops at 65. I mean, not only did we have a break of structure at this trend line, at this fallen trend line right there, we got a break of structure, and then they kind of broke out, and then they broke this structure to the left right here. So, and it looks like they're holding it above this high. So this right here, it could technically be a breakout, and waiting for that pullback would probably be the trade for a retest of at least a high, potentially. Potentially. You talk about them scrippers? You gotta feed the kids, man. We gotta feed the kids. That's why we go down to our local script clubs and we throw money at the scrippers, man. We got to. We gotta feed them kids. Because if we don't do it, who else gonna do it? I mean, the government shut down, so them food stamps cut off. So who else? So I mean, if anything, now it's double our responsibility to make sure we go down to our local script club and make sure we throw them ones out there. You gotta feed them kids. You gotta feed them kids. He said NQ's running up. I mean, I guess. I mean, yes. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to do it that way. It makes sense to do it that way. That's exactly right, Alfred. When the government fails the local script club, our local scripters at the script club, we got to step up. We got to step up. We got to make sure that they're good. That's hilarious. All right. He said an EBT night. You know, speaking of that, man, you know, at least down here in Texas, I mean, I haven't seen anybody put any food 463 in those red bins. I guess everybody's hurting right now. Nobody's putting food in them bins, man. Ah, man, if that shit pull back, man, that shit. Man, gold, man, you being real nasty tonight, man. You being real nasty, real nasty. Let your boy into this long, man. Mm. Okay, well, 10:15. I don't think we see anything else probably tonight. Nasdaq is grinding higher. Rest in peace to the bears. Like, man, you can't be a bear in this market, man. Rest in peace, man. You know, I kind of felt sorry for people in the Top Step chat or people with live accounts. They have these high entries. They didn't take profits on their shorts, and now they have price literally coming back. They didn't take profits at the lows, and now they're emotionally stuck in these trades because they don't want to close it, because it's like, shit, they were up about 300 plus points, and now price is racing right back to their break evens, and potentially, if they allow it, to stop them out. But we all know how that shit go. We know that if you see 300 plus points and that shit is coming back to your break even, we already know that that stop's getting moved. Yeah, that stop is going to definitely get moved, man. All right, gain weight. Yeah, man, Gold's supposed to, and she's supposed to show your boy love, man. Shit, I left NQ for her. She's supposed to show me some love, man, and she ain't doing that. She's not making your boy feel good, and she's supposed to be doing that. But yeah, I mean, I saw a couple of the screenshots. Hopefully they don't allow their emotions to overwhelm them and not close out that position. But we all know how that shit go. Shit, we know how it go. That shit didn't hit my target, so shit, I guess that thing got to hit my stop, right? Especially if I was up that much and I didn't move, I didn't protect myself from the market. But I mean, the market did kind of recover towards the end of the day. So I mean, I guess what people was probably expecting was if price were to pull, like as price was pulling back, I think what people expected was for it to gap down, like it was trading into a previous area of resistance. But shit, the market is just trading through it like that resistance was never there. And this is kind of why, like, dude, this is like the PTSD from the Nasdaq. You can't trust support or resistance, because the Nasdaq literally took out this level of resistance and this level of resistance. It took out 2 levels of resistance, and there was no price action. There was literally no price action. Prices traded right through that shit like it was not even there. That's crazy. I am interested to see what would happen at Thursday's orb low if we see a rejection from there, because we did just kind of break down from it and we didn't get a retest. So we could see price reject around 585, 565, somewhere in that range on the Nasdaq. But yeah, seems like we're not going to get that at all. But it looks like everybody's going. So I guess we'll end it here. Do appreciate everybody that joined me tonight. We'll definitely come back tomorrow morning, and we'll definitely look for more opportunities to earn some more money. With that said, peace out, everybody. Have a good night. I guess if OBS wants me